Hello, I'm back again with tip number 2 here for you. So when you're shoveling snow or doing functional activities that actually cause an increase in back pain, what is happening here is that your joints are restricting and your muscles are tightening to hold that area. And I know you're like, why does that happen? Well, typically when you're doing things like snow shoveling, you're having to use a lot of upper body and lower body muscles to perform that activity. And when you go to get the snow and lift it up, there's even more muscles that you have to activate. Now, when you have tight joints or restricted joints, then those joints' reaction are to allow you to perform the activities, but it's going to have to compensate, and your muscles that are getting used are actually your weaker muscles that can't handle it. So you're going to typically feel pain or an acute injury is going to occur after performing snow shoveling or other functional activities that you don't have the mobility or the strength to do. So tip number 2 here is you don't want to twist at the knees. And when I say that, so when you go here and you're twisting and your feet are not on the floor, and I'm going to try to see if I can get my feet in here. So if your feet stay steady and you twist, then you actually have meniscus between the top part of the leg, the femur and the tibia. And right here where it meets, there's a cushion that circles the top of that joint to give you that cushion that you need for walking. A lot of you have heard bone on bone. That just means that cushion is gone and you've actually rubbed the top surface of the nerves and the bones and actually degenerated the top of the bone, which at that point when you've degenerated the bone, there's no turning back. You have to have surgery. What we're trying to do here is to prevent that. So when you're doing activities that involve a twisting at the knees or a twisting at the back, then you're actually causing damage at the knee, you're causing damage at the meniscus, and as you break down that meniscus, you actually become more prone to degenerative type arthritic, osteoarthritis, those changes in there, because what happens is when you rotate that, you can cause micro tears to happen in the meniscus. And when those micro tears happen, when you're doing the activity, you're not going to feel any pain. You're not going to feel anything. You're going to be able to do it. But what happens is your body sends out response to that tissue because there's a micro trauma. It causes a slight inflammatory response and a response for your body to heal that area. The other thing that happens is the joint actually tightens down, and your knee joint is supposed to have a lock-out mechanism so that when you stand and lock the knee in place to step forward with the other foot, that lockout mechanism is supposed to lock to allow for you to roll off of your foot for proper gait pattern or just proper walking. But because that lockout mechanism is already locked down, you're actually going to be at risk for tearing the meniscus or actually causing other forms of strain or sprain when you're doing other activities. So if you're snow shoveling and you're bending at the knees or twisting at the knees, that's an activity that your knees don't allow. So when you start that micro trauma and you don't know it started, okay, your body will be providing an inflammatory response. It could be a week goes by and next week you're running, and when you're running after that you feel like you tore your meniscus after a run. Well, you probably did, but you probably tore your meniscus because the actual lockout mechanism of the knee had, the joint actually was restricted in there and did not allow that lockout. So what you were doing was just pulling at that meniscus the whole time that you were doing running. We call that a dynamic activity and at stretch. So that was just happening and you tore the meniscus from that. So when you're snow shoveling, you don't want to twist at the knee. You want to make sure that when you're twisting, you're stepping with both feet, okay? So also twisting at the back. If you twist at the back to snow shovel, with the applied pressure going underneath that snow, or either taking that snow up and doing this sort of action, you can actually pull your sacroiliac and pull the muscles up along the back. Because you don't have the stability or strength in the hip and low back, or because you don't have the mobility to be able to perform that action, it's going to have your body compensate And you're going to feel that through pain after shoveling, or you're going to have an acute response or muscle spasm that occurs due to that activity. Both can be fixed, but what you need to do when you're shoveling is making sure that you're actually turning and you're not twisting at the back or twisting at the knees. So that's tip number 2. Please don't twist at the back and knees when you're doing functional activities so that you avoid any risk of low back pain or knee pain. I hope that helps you. Again, if you ever have a problem, please give us a call here at Stretch Physical Therapy and Total Wellness, and we will get you right back into where you can snow shovel again. Have a great day, and see you later.